Good morning, it's Jennifer Nassy with Learning Leaf LLC, and this morning I want to address a question that I get asked a lot. In fact, I was asked this morning when I was working with one of my clients, and that is, if I take out a food for a period of time, say a 3-week cleanse, and then put it back in and my body is reacting to it, isn't it just because my body's not used to processing it anymore? And the thing is, it's not that clear cut. So when I look at things like gluten intolerance, for example, for a period of time, people can be okay eating gluten, but then something trips that gene, either the celiac gene or the gluten sensitivity gene, and whammo, their body can't process gluten anymore. Or there's some gut issues going on where proteins are leaking into the bloodstream and the body's attacking them. And until that's healed, that food's not working in your system. And so when we look at taking foods out for a period of time, when you are reintroducing them, if your body's having a clear reaction, often it is because before you took it out, you were having it so often, your system was so bogged down that you just weren't recognizing the symptoms. For example, when I was at my sickest, I was chronically fatigued, I had digestive issues, I was carrying an extra 20 pounds on my body I couldn't get rid of, but I did not connect that to gluten at all. And in fact, that wound up being a huge factor for me, both in all of those things and in my psoriasis. So it took taking it out for a long period of time, letting my body heal, and then reintroducing it when I did start getting some pretty clear symptoms and reactions that I could pinpoint. So one of my mentors, Andrea Nakayama, who's a holistic nutritionist, equates it to smoking. If you think about the first time someone has a cigarette, it doesn't taste very good. It can make you feel sick. It's not necessarily a good reaction in your body. But if you continue to do it over time, you get used to it, you start to crave it, it feels good, you don't notice that anymore. And then if you quit, you take it out for a long period of time, you have a cigarette again, guess what? You're going to get that same reaction where you're feeling sick and it doesn't taste as good. So foods that we have intolerances to function much the same way. So initially we can, have a reaction, and as over time we continue to ingest that food, we don't notice it anymore, and we can actually develop cravings to it as well. If you've ever heard practitioners talk about how sometimes we crave the foods that are the worst for us, what happens is if your body is reacting to that food, it creates a stress response in the body. You release adrenaline and dopamine, all these hormones, and your body feeds off that. It starts to crave that response. And so we can actually develop serious cravings for foods that are really unhealthy for our bodies. So if you've done a cleanse, if you've taken foods out and you've put them back in and are starting to get reactions, my recommendation is to keep that food out and potentially seek out a practitioner who can help you work through some of those questions, because it can be really confusing. And of course, you can always schedule a Get Clear Strategy session with me. I will include the link below this video for you to do so if you want to see how I might be able to support you. But really, you want to look at why that food isn't reacting well in your body, what kind of gut healing needs to go on, and go from there. So I hope that answered your question. I love getting questions. So please, let's open up a dialogue. If you have a question, you can send it to jennifer@learningleafcoaching.com and I will do my best to address it. Until then, have a great week, and I will be back here with another video for you soon. Take care.